What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So we've been talking about that investors briefing from Nintendo with the Q&A for a couple of days now as more and more information has come out from that. But there was something I wanted to talk about here because it does have to do with Nintendo and their thoughts around the next big 3D Mario game. We're going to go over that one here today. Also, we are going to be talking about Sony fixing a major issue with the PlayStation 5 one that I had covered here previously in a tech wave. And we're also going to talk about the Pokemon Company because, surprise, surprise, they're striking back online with these leaks. Guys, if you enjoyed these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below and ring that notification bell so you can keep up to date with all of the uploads here on the channel. And we're going to start today with Halo 2. That's right, Halo 2 from what's now 17 years ago. If you ever wake up in the morning and look on Twitter, there's a good chance there's an anniversary around a game or a system that'll make you feel old. This one in particular, though, hit home pretty well. We can see this over on Twitter. 17 years ago, we needed a weapon. Happy birthday, Halo 2. That's right. 17 years ago, Halo 2 released. I still remember this really, really well. Picking it up at midnight when, midnight releases were still a thing, heading home with a bunch of friends, setting up the CRT TVs all over the basement and playing through that game until the sun came up. It was a great time, and it does look like the Master Chief Collection is continuing to celebrate the Xbox anniversary. Remember, we have that live stream coming up next week. A lot of hope around that, having some backwards compatible games being added into the library. But take a look at this tweet here for the Master Chief Collection. That's right. There's extra cosmetics you can unlock, which includes the original Xbox and the Duke controller, the ones like the size of a hamburger. Right there, you can put that on your shoulder, or you can put the original Xbox on the back of your Spartan. So just some fun stuff for the Master Chief Collection to unlock. But yeah, certainly a wave of nostalgia that morning on Twitter when I saw that Halo 2 had turned 17. Yeah, that'll make you feel old. Also, we did get a look at the UK sales charts. We can see this here, and surprise, surprise, number one is Call of Duty Vanguard. I know a lot of people are down on Call of Duty Vanguard this year. It doesn't feel that interesting to see another Call of Duty game like an older Call of Duty World War style game. But there it is, number one in the charts in the UK. FIFA 22 is number 2. Mario Party Superstars at 3. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 4. Spider-Man Miles Morales at 5. Guardians of the Galaxy at 6. Animal Crossing New Horizons at 7. Minecraft on the Switch at 8. Fortnite Minty Legends Pack at 9. Then Far Cry 6 at 10. The split for Call of Duty in the UK, 41% on the PS5, 29% on the PS4, 19% on the Xbox One, and then 11% on the Series X and Series S. That makes sense considering in Europe and in the UK, the PlayStation brand is very strong. But in general, Call of Duty, number one on the sales charts, not surprising. We have this disconnect with the mainstream and like the plugged-in audience online here, where like I looked at Call of Duty Vanguard and I was like, that's just doesn't seem that interesting at all. But it's Call of Duty, and the name itself will sell very well. The question is, will it sell enough to meet what are probably some very unrealistic expectations from Activision this year? I guess we'll find out more next month when we get the report for the MPDs. Oh, and a quick heads up, we do have a game now available on the Game Trials program for Nintendo Switch Online. We can see this tweet from Nintendo. The World Ends With You Final Remix is available for Nintendo Switch Online members to play from November 10th until November 16th. They also mentioned that The World Ends With You Neo will be 30% off, as well as The World Ends With You. Now, Neo will be on sale until the 19th. And I mean, it's there. You might as well try it out. I think this is a good one to throw in there because it's not exactly like a massive mainstream game. This is one that probably a lot of people have missed. And I mean, I like The World Ends With You. I just think that when they put it on the Switch, the controls themselves could have used some help, but I mean, they were coming from the DS to the Switch, so they did the best they could. I think Neo turned out very well, though, so certainly worth checking out here. You never know. You might like it, and then if you do, the sequel is right there for 30% off next to it. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Nintendo and the next big 3D Mario game, I think, for the Switch. I do believe we're going to see another 3D Mario game alongside of Breath of the Wild 2. Remember, the generation opened with a big 3D Zelda game, that being Breath of the Wild, and then we did also had a big 3D Mario game that year in 2017. Both of them were nominated for Game of the Year. It was pretty cool to see a big 3D Mario game up there with Mario Odyssey. Awesome game. If you haven't played it yet, what are you doing? You got to pick it up for the Switch. But of course, we're all wondering, What's next for Mario? Will there be a big 3D Mario game coming up? Well, let's take a look here, because with the investors Q&A, they were asked, that being Nintendo, about the differences between 2D and 3D Mario, and Miyamoto did answer this. And of course, when he starts talking about Mario, you want to pay attention. Let's see what he had to say, though, specifically about the next Mario game, because he went into a pretty long explanation around how they developed 2D Mario games and tried to make them a bit more approachable. When we develop software, we strive to incorporate new elements, but at the same time, we want to make it easy for even first-time players to have fun. Recently, people of all generations have been enjoying the 3D Mario game, Super Mario Odyssey, that released in 2017. So for 3D Mario going forward, we want to try expanding further in new ways. And that brings us to the big question: what would Nintendo do for their next big 3D Mario game? I would like to see them build more on what they had with Bowser's Fury. I think it's a cool idea to do like a big open world style Mario game, because when we get something like Mario Odyssey, Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxy, you basically pick different places to go to, and then it kind of loads you into, well, a new level, right? But if we had something like Bowser's Fury just on a bigger scale, where it's this big open world sandbox and you go to these different areas and they're all just linked together and you don't have load screens or anything go between them, that would kind of be, I don't want to say the Breath of the Wild moment for the big 3D Mario games, but it would be certainly a moment in kind of the history of these games. And it's a cool idea to have that, but then also still paired with the controls and the feeling that we had with Mario Odyssey. This is a very, very good controlling game. Like, it's 60 FPS, the controls really merge together well with everything they're having you do with the hat throwing and jumping off of that, and then obviously taking over the different enemies to then complete different objectives and find new places on the map. I mean, seriously, they could do a lot of really cool things, especially if they add in bigger world bosses like we have Giga Bowser. What else could they throw in the mix to change things up in different areas? That's kind of the direction I would like to see them go in for the next Mario game. Either way, though, I think we're gonna see one before the end of this Switch generation. Could it be like a cross-gen game? Sure, it could be. I mean, Breath of the Wild, that started on the Wii U and then just kind of found its way onto the Switch, but Nintendo may be planning out something like a Mario Kart as a cross-gen game, maybe a big 3D Mario game as well next to it, or around that same time. Would be a really cool way to get people to buy into the next system while also still feeling like they're not being left behind with their current Switch. But let me know what you would like to see them do. A concept built on top of what they've done with Odyssey and Bowser's Fury, or just get really creative and go off the rails like Nintendo likes to do, and generally come up with a really cool idea for another Mario game. Next up, let's talk about a major issue that Sony has fixed with the PlayStation 5. It's something I explored in a tech wave alongside of the PS4, where it appeared that the issue was actually much worse, because it had to do with the battery inside of the PlayStation 4 dying, and then you being unable to play your physical games. That was the weird part. The whole thing with digital, like, yeah, it's annoying, but I feel like a lot of us understand with digital games, there is authentication that has to happen with the servers to make sure you actually own that game. Well, it was weird when it didn't work with physical media, but Sony has since fixed that. I tested it with the PS5, found that the physical games work if the battery inside dies and your date's all thrown off, but digital games would not work. However, it appears that Sony has fixed that. We can actually see this in a YouTube video where Hikikomori Media tested it and found that even if the CMOS battery is removed on the latest firmware, you'll still be able to play all of your games, physical and digital. But there is one exception, and to me it kind of makes sense because it's subscription based, that being PlayStation Plus games. I'm sure that would also extend probably to PlayStation Now games. Basically anything that you have essentially a license to a service, it wouldn't work anymore. Again, that's not too surprising. The whole thing around digital games not working though is pretty frustrating, considering you could still have like a 30-day check-in period, because I mean, we have like, I believe Nintendo Switch Online does that with their Nintendo, Super Nintendo, all of those games. We know Microsoft does that, Steam does that. So the idea of having a kind of a login period is accepted, I think, at this point. But the idea that if your CMOS battery dies and you do not connect to the internet, you will just be unable to play them at all. It just completely locks you out. So I am happy to see Sony fix this issue. It's more about the idea of game preservation going forward. That was definitely a problem with the PS4. But still, it's good that Sony recognized this problem across the board, because the PS4 has been fixed with that. And now it appears that they have done work on the PS5. It's one of the reasons this stuff is brought up, so that hopefully the company will then look into it, patch it, and fix it. And fortunately for PS5 owners and PS4 owners, it looks like it's been done. Next up, let's talk about a rating that was spotted in Australia for a PlayStation game that's coming up, but it's also going to be a PC game. We can see this rating here for Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. Now, we can see the classification date was November 8th, and this is a big deal because as we start to see these ratings happen, it pretty much means that the game is at least coming up on its release date, or at least announcement of release date. We know that the game is coming out early 2022, so it's not surprising to see the rating now starting to pop up online, but remember, we also have God of War coming up in January. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection is going to come out on the PS5 first and then PC afterwards. At least that's how Sony has described it. We don't know what the window is going to be. Could be a month, could be 2 months, could be half a year for all we know. But this is a game that will have Uncharted 4, and then it'll have Lost Legacy right next to it. So I'm wondering if this is something that Sony will have a patch ready to go for Uncharted 4 as well, or is this just going to be a bundle that they then sell again to PlayStation owners? The PC side of thing makes sense. That'd be the first time those games would be going there, but Uncharted 4, I believe, is just in the PlayStation Plus collection. So it'd be odd if they, I guess, sold you on Lost Legacy without a patch for the one that you may already have on your system. And now we just think about, okay, when is this coming out? God of War in January. Would we have this in March or April and then follow up with the PC release a month later? And then would we potentially have another PC release later on in the year? Because there are a lot of rumors around that NVIDIA GeForce leak that we could see Sackboy show up. Demon Souls, maybe. I mean, we could have 3, maybe 4 releases on PC from Sony first-party studios next year. And wow, that would be a massive turnabout for Sony from just 3 years ago even, right? After seeing the success of Horizon and them really, I'd say, going all in on porting these games over to PC with their new label, it wouldn't shock me if we had 3, 4, even 5 releases from Sony on PC over the next 12 to 14 months. So I guess we'll find out more about Uncharted after God of War releases in January and then see if they have anything else for us to close out the year for PC. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. They're out next week, and they've pretty much been out now for a couple of days as they just appear to have leaked out and then just start showing up online. People are downloading. I've noticed people are emulating them. They're playing them on hacked Switch systems. And yeah, the Pokemon company kind of took notice because people were streaming on Twitch and posting YouTube videos. And I feel like I've said this many, many times now with the Switch. The Pokemon company does not mess around. And from what I've seen, these Twitch streams were getting ripped down. We saw these videos getting struck down, what looked like by the Pokemon company. And it appears now, if you go on any of the tabs on Twitch, is just people looking at the trailer or playing the Game Boy Advance version under that category. Now, the biggest thing that these leaks have kind of led to is a lot of criticism around the quality of these Pokemon games from Ilka. It's also been talked about that they're being built with Unity, as there's also been a lot of data mining that's taken place. But it was also noticed over on Nintendo's Japan site for the eShop listing, there could be up to an 8GB patch. Now, we can see this over on the Nintendo eShop page in Japan. Translated says, in order to play some content, it may be necessary to install the update data delivered on or after the game release date. A software update is required to use certain features while playing with others, such as communications, trading, and battles. So I don't know if it's exactly 8GB. People are making it out as an approximate size. So it just appears that it's going to be a sizable day one update. I don't know if it's going to fix any of the things that people are noticing. Like, seriously, there are some things that even I'm like, oh, that's really missing, like an opening video animation, something like that. So these are, once again, things being played on modified Switch systems, emulators. At times, emulators especially can do some weird things with the game. So we're going to have to see what this day one patch does for it. But as I said before, I think a lot of people are kind of looking past this game anyway towards Pokemon Arceus. It's just kind of a shame that if it does turn out, it is lower quality overall, even compared to what we've seen with just Nintendo games. I think it'd be a shame for people who are fans of Diamond and Pearl not getting the big shine or the big moment, right? The big shiny release that people were hoping for when we had first heard about these rumors around a Diamond and Pearl remake. Now, I think you can still enjoy the game. Obviously, it's just what could have been. But we'll see what happens when it releases here in about a week and a half or so, and see what that day one patch exactly does. And before we go to the comment of the day, we're taking a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I asked, are you planning to do any shopping on Black Friday this year? 10% said yes, I'll be at stores shopping. 51% said yes, but mostly online. And then 39% said no, not this year. You know, I think when I was younger, I was much more interested in going to different stores and trying to find these big deals and stuff for games. And oh, that game's like $10 now. It was like $60 beginning of this year. I've kind of drawn back a bit to just mostly being online shopping at that time, right? Like when I know a lot of deals are happening, but I also know the stores are just getting crushed with people. I don't know, sometimes it's not too bad to miss out on that $10 savings and just wait for Cyber Monday, or even take advantage of any of the deals that just run over the weekend. But I understand for some people, it's more of like the thrill of the hunt, finding the deals in person at these different stores, but it's also a pretty big hassle. However, let me know, down below, if you're gonna be going out and what you have your eyes set on right now to be picking up for Black Friday. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from Marble saying, modding has had a minimal impact on Switch sales, although they might worry Sony won't be too impacted. I think sometimes we maybe put over the modding scene a bit too much when it comes to it really bleeding over into the mainstream. A lot of people don't necessarily want to go online and figure this stuff out and then download what could potentially be 50, 60, 70, maybe even 80 gigabyte files from different websites for their PS5, just as an example if it got to that point. The thing with Sony, though, is they don't want the narrative to get out of control with third parties to where it appears that the PS5 is just completely opened up and the security is just terrible on this system, because they do still rely quite a bit on third parties. So there is this thought process with Sony that they want to make sure this gets taken care of, whether it's through a firmware update or just something to work to improve security on this, so it doesn't turn into an entire PSP situation, because that was actually pretty ugly for Sony then, although I think things have changed quite a bit with the PlayStation 5. You look at the file sizes, you look at what has to be done at times to just modify these systems where maybe you have to solder stuff to it. There's a whole thing there. But basically, Sony wants to control the narrative and they don't want it to be the PS5 is easy to hack. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today was Nintendo and what you would like to see them do with the next big 3D Mario title. Also, what about the PlayStation 5 and Sony fixing the issue with the battery when it comes to digital games? And then the whole thing around Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Are you picking these up? And if you've seen some of these videos and screenshots online, what do you think about how it's turning out? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.